I'm so tired today. Morning arrived with its usual punctuality, but today it felt like a rude awakening, as if the world had conspired to deny me a moment more rest. My alarm blared, its relentless tune, shattering the fragile cocoon of sleep that I had woven around myself. With a groan, I dragged myself out of bed, feeling like I was emerging from a cozy cocoon into a world of cold reality. The night bed had been restless, with sleep coming in fits and starts. It seemed like I had just closed my eyes when the alarm shattered my dreams. I longed for just a few more minutes of that elusive slumber, but the world outside was calling, and I had to answer. So then I slumbered into the bathroom, my movement sluggish and my eyes half shut against the harsh bathroom light. The mirror reflected a face with poofy eyes and disheveled hair, a testament to a night spent tossing and turning in pursuit of the elusive deep sleep. Even the simple tasks like brushing my teeth or tying my shoelaces felt like monumental feats of coordination. My body still stepped in the warmth of the cozy bed, protested every movement. It was as if I had to negotiate with my own limbs just to get dressed. But in the midst of the bleary-eyed struggle, a small beacon of hope beckoned from the kitchen, the promise of a steaming cup of coffee. Yeah, as I made my way there, every step felt like an endless journey. I clung to the hope that caffeine would work its magic, banishing the morning fatigue that clung to me like a heavy, damned fog. The coffee machine gurgled to life, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, filling the air like a siren's call. I watched as the dark liquid filled my favorite mug, and with each passing second I felt the anticipation grow. This was my elixir, my morning salvation, the one thing that could coax my drowsy mind and weary body into the land of the living. As I took first sip, the bitterness of coffee seemed to jolt my senses awake. The fatigue that had enveloped me began to loosen its grip, and I felt the first stirring of alertness. Morning had won the battle, but with each sip I was determined to win the war against tiredness, one cup of coffee at a time. The sun had climbed higher in the sky, and the morning battle against fatigue had given way to the midday slump. Lunchtime arrived, but there was no sense of anticipation or excitement. Instead, I found myself facing the prospect of food with awareness that seemed to seep into every bone. As I sat at my desk, the aroma of various dishes wafting from the office microwave and cafeteria should have been enticing, but today they felt distant, like echoes from a world where tiredness didn't hold dominion. I could see my colleagues chatting intimately, enjoying their meals, while I contemplated the simple act of lifting a fork. The fatigue that had briefly lifted after my morning coffee had returned with a vengeance. My eyelids felt heavy, as if someone had attached a teeny weight to them. Every blink seemed to last an eternity, and my focus drifted in and out like a boat on a lazy river. Lunch, which was typically a welcome respite in the middle of the day, felt more like a chore, and the thought of chewing and swallowing required effort. I yearned for a siesta, a brief escape from the demands of the day, where I could surrender to the embrace of sleep. In the midst of the midday exhaustion, I couldn't help but envy those who had the luxury of a short nap. In some cultures, the idea of an afternoon siesta was a cherished tradition, a recognition of the body natural rhythm. But in my current reality, it remained a distant dream. Instead, I stoldered on mechanically going through the motions of eating, so the flavor seemed muted and uninteresting. The chatter of colleagues faded into the background as I battled to keep my eyes open, the desk becoming a makeshift pillow of my weary head. Lunchtime had also become a battleground, a test of endurance against the relentless tide of tiredness. But I knew that the day held more challenges and I couldn't afford to surrender to sleep. So with a sigh, I pushed my plate away, determined to conquer the afternoon and make it to the evening finish line. Ah, it's almost there. The sun had started its slow descent toward the horizon, casting a warm glow across the office as evening approached. I had made it through the middle day slump, but the battle against fatigue was far from over. The clock on the wall seemed to tick with deliberate slowness, each second dragging me closer to the end of the workday. As the hour passed, I felt like a weary traveler trudging through the final leg of a long journey. Every task, no matter how small, carried the weight of exhaustion. Simple decision became monumental choice, and I found myself dreaming about the comfort of my bed. The office lights, once a source of illumination and focus, now felt harsh and unforgiving. Colleagues exchanged tired smiles, their faces mirroring the same weariness that had settled over me like a heavy shroud. Conversation turned sluggish. The words seemed to flow in a slow motion. With each passing minute, I count down to the moment when I could finally escape the office and retreat to the solace of home. The commute felt like eternity, and even the familiar sights and sounds of the city failed to invigorate me. When I finally stepped through the front door, the weariness that had clung to me all day seemed to intensify. The coach beckoned like a siren, and I succumbed to its embrace, sinking into the cushions with a sigh of relief. The evening stretched ahead, and canvas of fatigue and a longing for rest. Dinner was a subdued affair, the flavors blending into a comforting but unremarkable meal. Conversation were replaced by the soothing hum of the television, its soft glow filling the room. The battle against tiredness had taken its toll, and the evening had become a sanctuary of stillness. Yeah, as I prepared for bed, I couldn't help but reflect to the cyclical nature of fatigue. Morning had brought its challenges. Lunch had tested my endurance, and evening had become refuge for weariness. Each part of the day had its own battles, but through that all I had persisted. With the soft embrace of the bed sheets, I surrendered to sleep, knowing that the cycle would begin anew with the promise of a new day. Tiredness was a constant companion, but it was also a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit, a testament of the daily battles we wage and the victories we achieve.